All right, brothers and sisters, I'm going to get right to it. We had Pastor Zhang in China getting arrested, and this is a pretty crazy thing for those of you who don't know what's going on in China with the Christians. So I'm going to jump right into it. A pastor was recently arrested, not for violence, fraud, political activism, etc., but for sharing recordings of his sermons. I want to ask you a question first off. Right now, all of you watching this video, how many of you are willing to go to jail for sharing the gospel? Yeah, I'm going to let that sit for a moment. See, today's video, we're going to discuss what's the true cost of your faith. Let's jump right into it. So Pastor Zhang was arrested in China for releasing his videos online. You know, just like your favorite pastors. I mean, how many sermons do we have online? It just goes to show how different it is in America versus all these other, communists or socialists. And I don't want to put labels on it and say that's the problem. I'm just saying all these other countries where being a Christian could get you, you know. So he was releasing his sermons online, and if you don't know, China is cracking down on unregistered churches. Now, you're probably going to be like, what is unregistered churches? Well, it's good that you asked. In China, there's an underground Christian movement because being a Christian in its true nature is illegal. You see, they have churches, it's called the Three Self Church, which is like they have churches that basically have to be approved. You have to line up with CCP values. You know what? I'm going to put it on the screen. These are the things that makes the Three Self Church or whatever else is approved different than your regular illegal Christian church. And so that's why China's not playing, because they don't want the true message of Christ being put out. They want like certain parts, just like what happened in people use the Bible negatively. They're gonna allow certain parts to talk about obeying and following certain people's commands. You know what I mean? So it's pretty horrible. So his crime wasn't hate speech, violence, political activism, none of that. It was preaching the gospel. That was his crime, y'all. Registered churches like the Three Self Church are okay, but the illegal churches are not. So most of these millions of believers in China have to worship in underground in silence. They have to basically hide their faith at all times. They get together and rejoice, but they are really living the Christian struggle. They are really living it, not like we do. We're allowed to chill, wear crosses, go out, hang out, etc., etc. They are living the struggle. So I want to hit you with a quote first off from the early church members. They used to say that the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church, because if you don't know, it was illegal when Christianity first started to be Christian. It was illegal, and a lot of people, bad stuff happened to them for us to be able to enjoy what we enjoy now, which is out in the open, being a Christian, wearing crosses, talking about Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. So I also want to show you a quote from Wang Yi in 2018 when he was arrested, because this guy was arrested kind of a similar fate, for sharing his faith and whatnot. He was a pastor. He is a pastor, but he was a pastor who used to be a human rights activist, and he was arrested in 2018. Check this out. So, I want to leave you with some quotes, or not some quotes, but some scripture real quick, just to make sense of this. Because again, this is crazy. I'm trying to get through this to save you guys time, but this is crazy. So Matthew 5, chapter 5, verse 10 through 12. I want you to remember that blessed are those who are persecuted. I could read the whole verses, but again, I'm trying to save you time. And then in Acts chapter 5, verse 29, remember, we must obey God rather than men. So you see already with those two, those who are persecuted, you're blessed. Trust me, you're blessed. And remember always to obey the Lord first. No political party, no politician, no ideology. It's the Lord first, y'all. Always put the Lord first. And lastly, I want to leave you with this one because I think this is powerful. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 12. Everyone who wants to live a godly life will be persecuted. Think about that. Everyone who wants to live a godly life will, not might be, not there's a chance, it's likely. No, you will be persecuted. So expect that. Expect that. Satan don't play about that. Expect that. So I want you to remember that the early church grew under prosecution. This is normal for a church. If you're doing something right, you should be persecuted. If you're not doing something right, you should be living lush. And us here in America, we can take a look around and see how lush some of us got it. But that's a whole different video. We'll jump into that. So I want to tell you that if having faith became illegal, I'm going to ask you a question, you right now, a serious question. If having faith became illegal tomorrow, tomorrow, they started rounding up people saying, hey, do we have any evidence of people, being a Christian? If having faith became illegal tomorrow, would there be enough evidence to convict you? Would they be able to say, hey, yeah, I seen him praying. There's videos of him online preaching the word and feeding people and doing this. Or would they look at you and be like, no, 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 he's one of us. No, she good. She good. We saw her in the club the other day. She good. I want you to ask yourself that. So I want to close out by telling you what you can do, because I'm not a doom and gloom. I'm not that world is ending. I'm trying to be, we got to have faith, not fear. So first off, I want to tell you that you can pray for Pastor Zhang, his family, and the underground church in China, and just all through the world. But in China right now, they are hurting. They are hurting. Pray for those people, man. Second, you can support ministries. They got the Open Doors, Voice of the Martyrs, China Aid, and so much more. You can support those people. They need funds. They need more than just funds. They need a lot of stuff. Lastly, I want to say that you can speak up with your platform, because right now I'm a small YouTube channel, y'all. I'm so small. I ain't, if you like this video, if you're getting something out of it, please like, please subscribe, help the channel grow. Yes, but I am so small. So if you got a platform, and even if you're not a content creator, if you got friends and family, tell them. We got to get this word out, y'all. We got to get it out. And lastly, I want to say the biggest thing you can do is strengthen your own faith, because this is coming to a neighborhood near you. Okay? They don't want the word, the gospel. They don't want the gospel being preached, because it goes against controlling people. The Lord is telling us to be kind to one another and give and help out your brother and sister. They don't want that being preached. And same thing in America. They don't want that, because the moment we stop and say, hey, you know what? That's my brother. That's my sister. I don't agree with them, but they need help. They don't want that. We got to keep fighting. So I think that's pretty much it for now. So please, if you like the video, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. Please consider subscribing. That could help out the channel a lot. And just, again, post your comments. I want to know about your faith. Do you have faith? If they challenge your faith, if it became illegal tomorrow, what side are you going to be on, So God bless y'all. Shalom. I love each and every one of y'all. Be safe. And please pray for Pastor Zhang, his family, and the underground church in China. I'm out. Shalom.